record. Yes, it is Zoom. This meeting is being recorded. So welcome everyone to Getting Started as a Professional Coach. And there are whole courses dedicated to how to get started as a professional coach. And I think, in my humble opinion, I think many of them are too complicated. And I don't think it needs to be that complicated to get started as a professional coach. So a couple of quick definitions. What do we mean by professional? Well, professional means that you follow a professional code of ethics, right? And that your purpose is to help other people, right? And that's kind of like when we're going to talk about the characteristics of a professional coach today. We're going to spend quite some time on that, because if you're not aligned with those characteristics of a professional coach, then maybe you should do something else. So let's jump in without a further ado. As always, guys, if you're joining us for the first time, welcome, welcome, welcome. We're going to engage as much as we can. I'm going to ask questions. I'd invite you to share answers. I invite you to ask questions as well. And of course, we'll be using the chat box to do all of that. So I've got some slides here for you. If you want to take screenshots, guys, or whatever you want to do, or you can catch it on YouTube later, either way is okay. So as always, guys, you can find all of our previous webinars, little bits of content snippets here and there on our YouTube channel. Just search Coachology on YouTube and you'll find it. And we also have a Facebook group called 60-Second Leadership, where we share some tips and tools and techniques in around a minute to help you on your leadership journey. Today's agenda for getting started as a professional coach is, do you have the character or the characteristics of a professional coach? Don't give up your day job, not yet. If you saw the little video that accompanied the invitation to this, you'll know what I'm talking about. Overcoming imposter syndrome. So what is it and how can we get beyond it? Your coachee is your greatest teacher. Right? So if you want to grow as a professional coach, then you better listen to your coachee, because they are a gift for you. The 3 R's for getting paid clients. So I know that some of you who've registered today, you're already a certified coach. Awesome. And so if you're struggling to get paid clients, I think this little section here is going to help you a bit. And obviously, if you're just starting out, and this is what I mean by to make it as easy for you as possible. It's so complicated. It's so noisy in the space of coaching right now. I just want to try and keep it simple for you as possible. So for those of you that are certified, you can get your return on your investment for your coaching, and so that you can earn a living from it. And of course, you know, the more people that you help, the greater the positive impact you're having on the planet. And the planet certainly needs that right now. Adding more value to your clients, and as much as we can squeeze in 1 hour. This is my quickest hour of the week. I'm always surprised how quickly it goes. So yeah, world-class goodness right here, guys. I'm an NLP trainer. I'm a Marshall Goldsmith stakeholder-centered coach, PCC certified ICF coach, a consultant for Dr. Joe Dispenza, and a few other things. Rest assured, we're working with world-class organizations all around the world, and I'm sharing some of those little bits of gold nuggets, and we're sharing with you today. So let's jump in, guys, because, you know, I hope it's okay. I'll be a little bit direct here. If you're not ticking off most of these on the list, then just drop off the call. Coaching is not for you. And I don't say that to be arrogant or that I know everything, because I absolutely do not know everything. Where this is coming from is the literally thousands of coaches that Coach Christy and I, my business partner, that we have certified in NLP and ICF, the hundreds and if not thousands of leaders that we've worked with, where we've been teaching them coaching skills. And so it's what I've really highlighted here are the ones that make the biggest difference, because I'm not just talking about being a good professional coach. I'm talking about being a great professional coach. So this stuff isn't just made up. I've kind of looked at the evidence in the coaching community, who I admire, who I respect, who I've seen people get results. And this is the list. So in a moment, because I know some of you are already coaches, And I know some of you have worked with other coaches before. So I will invite you to share what you think are the characteristics of a great professional coach. I'll get the ball started. So as a coach, you want to have a service mind, right? It's a giving experience as a coach. You're giving your time, you're giving your skills, you're wanting the best for your coachee, right? Just think of a really, really nice 5-star hotel. And when you go to the 5-star hotel, the service staff, they go above and beyond. They truly have a service mind. They want to be of service. So this is the characteristic number one, and it's so important. In other words, a service mind is about giving. And so what is the opposite of that? Take. If you're into taking like that, what's in it for me? Then coaching is not for you. Second very important point. And remember, we're talking about great professional coach here. You must be humble and you must be curious, right? And these are really a must. Humble means no ego. Humble means not arrogant. And humble means that you know that you don't know everything, right? In fact, it is your coachee who is the expert in his or her world. And so we must honor that they are the expert in his or her life. And we must believe that they are whole, creative, and resourceful. Whole, creative, and resourceful. In other words, we don't think that they're broken and that they need fixing, right? That's not the mentality of a good professional coach, of a great professional coach. I remember 20 plus years ago, I had attended my first personal development seminar and I popped. It was like before the seminar, the world was black and white. After the seminar, it was like Technicolor rainbows and everything. It was just, it blew my mind. And of course, I wanted to fix the world, right? And so I was going around, I'm trying to fix everyone and give them advice and do all these things. And thankfully, one of my very, very close friends came up to me and said, Luke, and she's about half my height, right? I'm 2 meters tall. She said, Luke, stop it. Stop trying to fix everyone. We're not broken. And it was it really, it really knocked me for a 6. So, because this is what's going to happen, guys. Eventually, at some point, you'll attend a course or you'll join some webinar series or whatever. You'll learn, you'll read a book, and you'll have these tools and techniques, and you want to try it, and you want to go out there and fix everyone. But be mindful you don't try to push it onto people. Number one, they didn't ask for it. And then number two, if you're pushing it on them, it presupposes that you think that they need fixing. Right? So that automatically puts you that you know better than them, right? That's not being humble, right? If anything, you're at a lower level than the client and the coachee, right? So be humble and be curious, be open-minded to learn something. Whenever we talk, you're only sharing information that you already know. But when you listen, you have an opportunity to learn something new. And so because your coachee is the expert in his or her life, you don't want to be doing much talking. You want to ask a couple of nice, powerful questions, and then you want to be curious. You want to understand what's going on in their life so you know the next great question to ask them as you following your coaching process. But no ego, guys. You are not better than that other person. Your coachee, your client, they are a human being going through this journey called life. So you want to have empathy for them. You want to be humble and you want to be curious. Embodies a growth mindset. So this is actually part of the ICF core competencies now. I think it's core competency number 2, where according to the ICF, for those of you who do want to get certified as an ICF coach, which is the world's largest coaching organization, they want their professional coaches to embody a growth mindset. So what does that mean in English? It means that you, the coach, you must be willing to step outside of your own comfort zone, right? Because think about this for a moment. If you're having a coaching conversation with someone, chances are you're helping them to overcome some kind of challenge or help them to achieve a goal. Whatever it is, that next level of success for your client, by definition, it's outside of their comfort zone because they've not achieved it yet, right? Inside of the comfort zone is known and familiar. Outside of the comfort zone is unknown and unfamiliar, and it just happens to be uncomfortable sometimes to step into that unknown. So with almost every coaching conversation, you are inviting your coachee to step outside of their comfort zone. Well, guess what? You can't be sitting there all wrapped up in cotton wool tightly in your comfort zone saying, oh, come on, it's okay. It's safe to step outside of your comfort zone. It's not congruent. It's not authentic. So if you want to help your clients really step out of their comfort zone, then you must lead by example, right? You must be willing to do your own push-ups, as my mentor used to tell me, right? Because you can't do the push-ups for them, and no one else can do your push-ups for you. So as you are willing to step outside of your comfort zone and you do that regularly, you're giving your coachee permission to do the same. Guys, and this is all happening at an unconscious level. When we talk about frequency, when we talk about the vibe of working with someone that you want to work with, someone that you know has walked those steps before you, well, that's going to encourage them to step outside of the comfort zone. And it's an ongoing journey, guys. And if you've watched any of my webinars before, you know what I'm talking about. Now, as a great professional coach, you are aware that there are things that you don't know, right? And again, this is what it means to embody a growth mindset. Regardless of your age or your credential or experience or whatever you've had, there's always something more. There's always something else to learn and discover, new tools and new strategies. And the more that you learn as a coach, the more that you're able to pass them on to your coachees, either through your experience or a metaphor or a strategy that you use with your coachee. And what we're really saying here, guys, is to be a continuous learner. This is what it truly means to embody a growth mindset, right? So even as Christy and I here, Christy MCC, myself PCC, we don't fool ourselves that we know everything, because we know that there are things that we don't know. So at least 3 or 4 times per year, Coach Christy and I will attend another training of some sort or another, whether it's coaching related or mindfulness or this or that. I'm looking at breath work at the moment, right? We're always hungry to learn more, because that's what it means to be a great professional coach, is to continually evolve and grow yourself, right? All right, your turn, guys. What else? Think about some either coaches that you've worked with, and maybe they weren't like, they didn't have the title as professional coach, but maybe they were awesome leader, a great mentor in the past, someone that's really good at asking questions. What are some of the characteristics that you have experienced in a great professional coach? Please pop that into the chat box now. Absolutely, Elizabeth, they're a good listener. Yes, patience. Oh my goodness. Patience, right? Okay, here's this. Now, remember, guys, the topic for today is getting started as a professional coach. There are other programs that you can, 7 steps to getting paid clients and all this other stuff. We're not talking about that. We're talking about getting started. One of the biggest challenges for those of you starting out, particularly for those in a senior leadership role, senior leaders, they typically have a more kind of consultant approach to solving problems. So what do consultants do? They kind of tell people what to do and they give them advice, right? So always in every class that we teach of the ICF program, about a third of the participants kind of have this kind of consultant hat on, and whether they are a consultant or they are an executive or a senior leader, they're really good at solving problems. So you must resist the urge to tell people what to do. So that means listening, and you need to be patient. Yeah, you absolutely need to be patient. What else there, guys? Wow, you've got some great comments there. Must be a good listener. Yes, empathetic, not sympathetic. Sympathetic means you feel exactly what they feel. Well, if you feel sad, angry, or frustrated in that moment, then you're not going to be very effective as a coach. So empathetic is you can appreciate or respect the emotions that they're going through, yet you don't get sucked down into it. Yeah. Yeah, asks difficult questions. Yeah, asks questions that might be uncomfortable, right, for the coachee. Respect to each other. Guys, if the mutual respect is not there, it's never going to work, right? You right, must also respect your coachee, right? Because if that mutual respect isn't there, then forget about it. Yeah. Don't tell or give the answers. Yep. Yeah, as much as possible, we don't ask too many leading questions at the beginning, right? We normally ask open-ended questions to allow the coachee to come up with their own solutions, right? This is by the ICF coaching methodology. Yet in reality, where you might be in a leadership role, and you're asking your team, what do you think? What could be one solution? What's one possibility? And they just go blank, nothing, nothing, nothing. And you try it a few different ways, nothing, nothing, nothing. Then you can kind of give them a breadcrumb. You can give them a bit of a clue by asking a slightly leading question, right? Because they're still kind of coming up with the answer. Therefore, they can still take ownership and the accountability to drive that action forward. Yeah, don't analyze, guys. You, as a coach, you are like this. You are a blank piece of paper. A blank piece of paper. And again, this is one of the traps that I see with new coaches is they ask a question and then the coachee shares something, and then I immediately see the coach doing this. And what they're doing, they're trying to solve the problem for the coachee. They're trying to analyze and come up with their own solution. That's something else. That's not coaching. Yeah, very good. Yeah, non-biased mindset, absolutely. Listen attentively. Reflective. What is my role here and the best way to guide this person to figure out what he or she needs to figure it out? Beautiful. Is clear the time is about the coachee. I've dealt with someone who was very wrapped up in themselves and not confident in what they were doing. My goodness, spot on, Rachel, right? And we're going to come to that in a moment, what the point that Rachel has just mentioned there. All right, let's keep moving here, guys. So, you know, there's quite a few points here about these characteristics. Some of these you can learn, right? But a lot of these are just like, I'm thinking to say the word common sense, but that's a bit naive because I've been doing this for 10 years. It's common sense to me now. For those of you starting out on your coaching journey, it might not seem like common sense. And that's why I wanted to capture these all in one slide for you, right? So remember here, we're talking about the characteristics of a great professional coach. You need to be aware of your own blockages and you need to be able to remove them, guys, to be a great professional coach. What do I mean? The two biggest blocks that most coaches starting out are going to have is a lack of abundance. So they have what we call a lack mindset, which shows up in lack of money or lack of time, and which is closely also linked to a lack of self-worth, right? So they don't believe in themselves that they can actually positively impact other people's lives. So clearly in this 1 hour workshop, I can't tell you how to solve that in one shot, but there are coaching tools that can help you to remove your own blocks. And in fact, I can mention this point now. To be a great coach, you need to be an awesome coachee, right? So at some point in your coaching journey, you'll do some peer coaching, either with your classmates or you'll team up with some other people. There's Facebook groups with peers of other coaches. One thing is for sure, when you are the coachee, when you are receiving coaching from someone else, you want to go all in, right? And you want to try to remove these blockages that are holding you back from your highest potential. So when you are the coachee, you must surrender to the process, right? You need to be vulnerable and you need to be open, because again, if we go back to, stepping outside of the comfort zone example, if you as the coachee are not willing to open up and be vulnerable and to dig deep, if you're not willing to do that, then your future coachees will most likely not be willing to do that, right? So when you do have the opportunity to receive coaching from whoever it is, go all in. And don't be there, especially if you've done a coach training, don't be there as the coachee trying to coach your coach on how to coach you, right? Let me say that again. If you're the coachee and you're practicing with a buddy or a peer, don't try to coach your coach on how to coach you. Just surrender to the process and let them do the best that they can with the resources that they have. Okay? Ideally, to be a great professional coach, you want to be a great communicator. So you want to be good with language, and you need to have a high emotional intelligence. Because for those of you that are, interested in doing this professionally, you are going to come up against some heavy situations, trauma, abuse, all sorts of things. So you need to be able to have a strong EQ to manage all the different emotions that are going to surface inside of a coaching conversation. Listens more, talks less. We covered that already. You've got to be passionate about empowering others, right? So that's not telling them what to do. That's asking them these questions, right? Listen more, talk less, because you want to empower people to be their best version. But you've got to be passionate about it, right? It's not just like, something to do, here and there. It's something that you've really got to be committed to. At some point, guys, if you want to be a great professional coach, you've got to be professionally certified. It doesn't have to be with us. It doesn't matter who it is, but find yourself a world-class coaching credential. Go to the program, get yourself certified, because you're going to learn a system and a process to be a great professional coach, whoever it is. Just do your due diligence, do your homework, and make sure it's legit. And Christy asked me to put this one in here. And remember, guys, we're talking about being a great professional coach here. At some point on your coaching journey, we recommend that you hire your own coach. And I'm not talking about me or Christy. It can be whoever it is. But let me explain the distinction here, guys. Attending a coach training, that's one thing, right? You might learn an ICF or an NLP or whatever, and you learn how to be a coach. That's awesome. But that's a little bit different than taking $1,000 out of your own pocket and paying someone else for one-on-one coaching, right? At some point in your coaching journey, you will want to go through that experience of taking your hard-earned money out of your own pocket and paying another professional coach that maybe that you've just met, or you connected with them online or LinkedIn or however, and that you fully surrender to the process. And again, it's the same reason, guys. Your coachees are like a mirror to you. So if you have never ever spent any money on your own coaching, on your own development with a one-on-one coach, yet the very next day you're trying to charge $1,000, $2,000 for your coaching services for other people to trust you and invest in you to be their coach, but you've never done it, it's not congruent, guys. It's not in alignment, and it's not authentic, right? So again, it doesn't matter who it is. You just, at some point, you must go through that process so you know what it feels like to spend your hard-earned money with another coach, where you receive the coaching from them, right? Because then, of course, you'll be able to build more empathy with your future clients as you begin to charge money for your coaching services, right? Does that make sense, guys? Yeah, and it doesn't matter who it is. Find someone in your neighborhood, find someone that's in a specific area where you want to develop, so you get value from that coaching experience. Okay, so what else have we got here, right? So they are the characteristics of a great professional coach. If you want to be a good professional coach, half of those are okay, right? And it's no problem. There's no judgment here. I just want to share with you that based on our experience, this is what works, right? This is the formula. And if you follow the formula, you're going to get same or similar results in your own coaching practice. Cool? Take a screenshot if you want it, or catch it on YouTube, whatever works for you. Don't quit your day job just yet. Not just yet, right? Now, let me explain the logic here. I think I put these in a bullet point for you to make it really easy. Yeah. So this is why I don't want you to quit your day job just yet. And again, I'm saying this from being in the coaching industry for more than 10 years now. And I love working with new coaches, people who are just starting out on their coaching journey. The energy and the enthusiasm and the passion to want to help people, I absolutely love it. I admire it and I respect it. Now, the challenge though is that a lot of people, when they do that, right, they've attended a webinar, they've joined their first course, they get so pumped and they say, right, boss, I resign. I'm going to be a coach. Take your job and put it somewhere else, right? Not the smartest way to transition, guys, if your goal is to be a full-time coach. And let me tell you why. In the beginning, as you're starting out, you need to develop your skills, right? And sitting in on a course for 4 or 5 or 6 days, that doesn't quite make you a professional coach. Yeah, you've taken some steps. Yeah, you've probably got yourself certified. So you're definitely part of the way there. But the real excellence, shall we say, in becoming a great coach, there's only one thing for it: practice and repetition. Practice and repetition, following the framework or the strategies that you learned in your coaching program, but then having real coaching conversations with real people, not just your classmates, not just your friends and your family, right? That's where you start. You practice with your classmates and then you practice with family and friends. No, it's meeting people for the very, very first time, where they've never met you before, and you've got to build trust with them. You've got to understand what their challenges and their goals are, and then you work with them closely in partnership to help them achieve that. So that takes time, right? And how long does it take? It depends on your commitment. Minimum 3 months, more likely 6 months, right? And it could be 12 months to really build up your coaching muscle. So think about this. If you resign from your day job and then you've got to do your push-ups for 6 months to be really, not just to develop the skills, guys, but to feel confident. Because if you don't feel confident, it'll be more difficult for you to attract paid clients. The more confident that you are, the more certain that you can add value to your coachee, then the more likely they're going to purchase your coaching package, whatever that might be. So if you're trying to build up your skills and you're trying to find paid clients at the same time, it's going to be really, really difficult for you in the beginning. So my recommendation, if you are currently employed and you have an organization and you have a monthly paycheck coming in, then yes, learn some coaching tools, get yourself certified, learn a framework, whatever that is, and practice it inside of your organization, right? I know most of you on this call today, you are a leader and you are probably in an organization. So practice the tools now, right? Build up that coaching muscle, make your mistakes now, right? Because, by the way, there is no bad coaching conversation. There's only learning, right? You only learn. You either have a great conversation or you have a learning conversation, right? So practice that, under the safety, if you like, of your current employment. And then you can practice coaching your subordinates, your peers, other people in other departments. And this is how you really get to practice and build those muscles. Then you branch out from there. You work with some of your friends or friends of friends. They're the best, right? Friends of friends or friends of colleagues. This is where you really now get outside of your comfort zone. And then you start to get a few little paid clients here and there. And then when you kind of build up the momentum, when you feel confident and you've decided, okay, I am 100% certain I can make this work, then you say, thank you very much, boss. Adios, muchachos, or however you want to do it, right? Does this make sense, guys? Yeah? Okay, let me just quickly check here. We've got a couple of comments. The company corporate setting is a great place to sharpen your coaching skills. The conflicts and the number of constant interactions will widen your empathy, EQ, and other related competency. Absolutely. And Nils says, if you're in a management position, use it as an opportunity to be an internal coach, first applying management by coaching before becoming an external coach. Perfect, 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 perfect. Spot on, guys. Yeah, like I just said, guys, if you resign and say, see you later, now you have to try to build your skills and you have to find clients at the same time, right? These are the two biggest things as a professional coach: developing yourself continuously because you have a growth mindset, and to find clients, right? So if you're doing all of that all at the same time, it can add quite a bit of stress to your journey. So again, build your skills first, right? Because guess what? You can do a little bit on the side, right? So while you're still employed on the weekends or in the evenings or when you're not at work, you can begin to build your coaching business on the side, right? You can register a domain. You can get some headshots done if that's what you feel you need to get done. You can do all of these other things on the side on the weekend. So when you do transition, it's going to be smoother for you. And you can have a real positive impact in your current leadership role. Check this out. Even if you hate your job, right? You might be at the point now where you think, I am fed up with corporate world. I've had enough of this BS. I want out. I'm going to be a professional coach. I get it. I've been there. In fact, it's exactly what I did when I left Koh Samui. I worked in Koh Samui for 10 years in hotel management. I woke up one day and I said, I want to be a professional coach. And within 3 weeks, I was resigned and I was up here in Bangkok. So I did it the hard way, guys. And I don't want you to have to go through that pain and suffering that I did, right? I could have done a lot more preparation work before I left. And even importantly, guys, if coaching is for you, even if you're in a job that you don't like, as you're beginning to coach and empower your teams, that is going to bring you joy. And your level of certainty that, yes, coaching is for me, you'll be more certain of that because you've been able to create fulfillment and joy in a job that you don't like. Makes sense, right? Now, this is a big one too, guys. While you are still in corporate world, while you're still employed, you can realign your values and beliefs before becoming a full-time coach. Now, again, in the short time that we have today, I can't jump into the details here. What I mean here though, guys, is if you are in corporate world, let me give you a clear example. If you've been working in corporate world for 10 or 20 years, chances are, and this is a bit of a generalization, chances are security is very important to you, right? And what is important to us is our values. Yeah. So, and this is particularly true if you've stayed in a job that you don't like. And there's no judgment here. I'm just sharing an example of how your values need to be realigned. So again, you've hung around in corporate world, you've been there 20 years, you're not happy, yet it fulfills your need of certainty, right? A fixed salary, somewhere to go every week, to take care of the mortgage and your children's schooling, for example. Now, check this out though. When you move to be a freelance coach or you want to set up your own coaching company, you're going to have a different value that's going to be more important to you if you want it to be successful. And that value of certainty, that is not going to be aligned and support you in your role as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, or as a professional coach, right? So for me, for example, when I made that transition for corporate to doing what I'm doing now, that value that I needed to realign with within myself, who can guess? What do you think is one of the #1 values that is most important to a great professional coach? Put the answers into the chat box, guys. What do you think? What are some values that you think might be really important if you want to be successful? Integrity, absolutely. Yeah. What else? Honesty. Yeah. They're more like characteristics, right? And they're absolutely true. They are a value. Customer focus, which is service mind. Okay. I think you've hit it there, Elizabeth. This is for me personally. What was important to me? Freedom. I wanted the freedom, which enabled me to be more creative to do what I wanted to do with my wife, right? Coach Christy, which was to set up our own coaching organization. So for me, moving from that security, right, to freedom, they're quite opposite, right? And again, it's not that there's good or bad or right or wrong here, guys. I'm just sharing with you what worked for me. Was I personally needed to realign my values, what's important to me, in order to be a successful coach, trainer, and facilitator, right? So that's something you need to look at for yourself. What are your beliefs, right? And what are your values? And to make sure that they are aligned before you take that step. Otherwise, it looks like this, guys. Just see if you can follow my finger here, right? You're moving from here. This is your current job with certainty, and here is you want to be a successful coach, right? So it's kind of a jump up for you. Now, if we don't make those adjustments to our beliefs and values, you'll want to jump to here, but you'll end up down here, and you're going to struggle and struggle and struggle, and you won't know why, right? And you'll be struggling. Why can't I find clients? Why do I feel like an imposter? Why is everything not working for me? And the reason why is because you've not aligned your values first. Yeah. And so it's really, really important. And again, how do you identify these? Well, you need to look at some NLP, or you need to work with a coach who can help you identify your existing values and beliefs, and then help to realign them to what your outcome is. Yep, absolutely, Mike, a growth mindset as well. So imposter syndrome, what is it? Imposter syndrome is a psychological pattern in which an individual doubts their skills, talents, or accomplishments, and has a persistent and ongoing internalized fear of being exposed as a fraud, right? That they're, it's not true, that they're a fraud. Despite external evidence of their competence, those experiencing this phenomena remain convinced that they are frauds and they do not deserve all that they have achieved. Right. So again, this is a big thing for new coaches, right? So what they're doing, for those of you that, again, you want to make that transition. So in addition to your values and beliefs, there's a thing called your identity. Who are you? Who am I? When you ask yourself that question, who am I? Am I a leader inside of an organization, or am I a professional coach? So your identity is changing. And so you need to change with your identity. You need to step into that new role, and you need to own it, right? You absolutely need to own your new role. So for example, when I left Koh Samui, I'd been working in hospitality for 10 years. Then I moved up here to Bangkok to start work as a professional coach. I attended a training and I started to do my thing, and I was exactly in this role here. So you need to get beyond this as quick as you can, right? So this is how it shows up. Imposter syndrome will look like self-doubt, attributing your success to external factors. Oh, I was just lucky. I was just in the right place at the right time. It wasn't me, it was them, right? So you're kind of throwing your power away. Berating your own performance, in other words, putting yourself down. Inability to realistically assess your skills, and fear that you won't live up to expectations. Now, by the way, all of this is happening in here, right? All of this is happening in here. It's not true, right? So it looks like this. This is what we think, and this is why it's a trap, guys. So this is what we know, right? And this is what I think that others know. So in other words, we think that other people know so much more than us, and that they're going to catch us being fake or being a fraud. But it's not true. It's mind-made stuff. The reality is that here's what you know, then one other person knows this, a totally different person would know this, and a different person again would know that. So in other words, guys, you're not comparing yourself to anyone else. And this is all you need to do, right? When you've received the appropriate training from whoever, all you need to do is do your best. And if you are aligned with those characteristics that we mentioned on the first slide, and if you have the intention to be of service, everything else will take care of itself, right? Assuming you've done the training and you follow what you've learned, the details will take care of themselves, right? Because you know that there are things that you don't know that you don't know. You have a growth mindset, so you know you're going to get better. And who cares if other people know more than you? And if they do, it's something different to you. And that's why you're humble and you're curious, because everyone is a teacher. Every single person you meet is a teacher, including your coachee. In fact, if you are humble enough, if you can be of service, your coachee will be your greatest teacher. For example, many years ago when Coach Christie was first starting out, Coach Christie would attract the kind of coachees dealing with a very specific problem. Let's call it anger, for example. And it's no coincidence that each coachee that turned up seemed to be working on something relating to anger. Well, guess what? At that moment in her life, Christy was also processing a lot of unprocessed emotion called anger. So each time she worked with a client and she helped that client release some anger, she also released a little bit of anger in herself. And it happens too many times to be a coincidence, right? So if you believe in the law of attraction, or whether you don't believe in the law of attraction, just know that you will attract the coachee that was going to push you ever so slightly outside of your comfort zone. That's why you must be humble and curious enough to receive the gift that your coachee is going to bring to you. And that's why I say, guys, there are no bad coaching conversations. There are only lessons and learnings. Even if it's a total train wreck, even if you really mess up, you dust yourself off, you get back on the horse, and you take it as a learning, right? You take it as a learning. All right, what have we got here? We've got a couple of quick questions here. It can be low self-esteem, respect is the key. Focus on our own growth without attempting to be like each other. You can't be like each other. You are unique. You are one of a kind. You're a limited edition. Very good. All right. See, I can't believe it. We're 45 minutes in. All right, good. So 3 R's, guys. Any questions at this point? Any questions while I take a breath? Okay, one more quick tip. Imposter syndrome might show up as some form of perfectionism, right? That you want everything to be perfect before you take your first step. That's a trap, right? The best way to start coaching, guys, is to what? Start coaching. There's no other way, right? You just need to start. And again, this is how you do it. You practice with your classmates, right? Then you practice with family. Yeah, they're pretty forgiving most of the time, except guys, do not try to coach your wife or your husband, right? That's a mistake unless they ask you, right? That's a no-no. Why? The reason why is because you might be part of the problem, right? So unless they say, yeah, go ahead, let's practice, then you can do it. Friends, right? The friends will be after that. And then other colleagues, right? You can practice with colleagues and whichever order you want to be able to do them in. Now, where you really take the first step outside of the comfort zone is where you're coaching friends of friends or a colleague of a colleague, right? Someone that you don't know. So you start by coaching as many people as you know to start with, and that'll hopefully get you about 20 hours worth of coaching experience. Then you begin to ask for friends of friends. Yep. And that's how you grow to the next level. And this is how you're going to get paid clients, guys. The 3 R's for getting paid clients. Now, again, I didn't make this up from scratch. What I actually did here was I modeled how Coach Christy started all those years ago, about 10 years ago, on how she was able to get paid clients. And here's the thing. She did it without a fancy website. She did not have a brand design or a logo or anything like that. She did not even update a LinkedIn profile. None of that for the first 3 years. And in those early days, Christy was able to coach about 6 people per day, a total of about 10 hours per day. Now, I still don't know how she was able to do that because that's a pretty full commitment, except that I do know because she was passionate about it and remains passionate to this day. This is what she did, right? And this is the easy part. The first R, results. Who are you going to get results for, guys? Who are the people you want to focus on getting results for? Your clients. Right? So you're simply going to follow your training, whatever you learned, whoever you learned it from, and you must be committed to getting results for those early practice clients, right? The friends and the friends of friends, you're going to offer some pro bono coaching. You're going to offer them a chemistry session. You're going to do it for free. You're going to let them to buy you a cup of coffee or a meal or something appropriate. And you are going to do whatever it takes ethically to get results with your clients, right? Following the coaching protocols that you've learned. So the first R is results. The second R is repeat business. So those first people that you've got success with, right? And maybe you offered a friend of a friend 3 hours as pro bono, as free coaching. At the end of that 3 hours, you say, did you enjoy the coaching conversations that we had? They'll say yes. If you focused on point number 1, they'll say, yeah, that was cool. And you'll say, great. Well, as I'm now a certified ICF coach, I would love to continue to work with you. My normal fee is $100 per hour, for example. As we already have a great relationship, I'm happy to offer you a 50% discount, right? Which is $50, whatever that is in ringgit, about the same in Singapore dollar, about 1,500 Thai baht. Right? So the people that you've already got some wins and successes with, then you simply continue to work with them. And with each little package that you sell them, whether it's a 3-hour, 6-hour, 10-hour, whatever it is, that package is designed to achieve results with a specific area in that client's life or business. So they might choose a 6-hour package to work on this. Now, guess what? If they achieve that goal, then in their mind, they're thinking, wow, this is a good return on investment. So you, as the coach, you simply ask them, do you have any other goals that you would like to work on for another 6 hours? Now, they will have been able to calculate their ROI. In other words, they paid this much, they got this result. Was that worth it to me? This is the question that they're asking themselves. And if you've helped them to get results, then you're going to ask for the repeat business. What's another goal that you would like to work on, right? Now, who can tell me, guys, what is the third R? Elizabeth, yeah, a typical coaching conversation is 1 hour, give or take, 20 minutes. But in a leadership coaching context, they'll be much shorter. You'll be able to conduct leadership coaching within 20 or 30 minutes. Why? Because it's inside the company and they don't have time to have these longer sessions, except if it's maybe for a yearly performance review or a KPI, personal development plan or something like that. Yeah. Mike has hit the money there. The final R is referrals. So again, if you've got results for someone and they may be working with you for a second or third time, they are very, very likely to refer their friends or colleagues. But here's the thing, you have to ask, right? If you don't ask, you don't get. And trust me, guys, it's so much easier to get clients this way than it is to go to a networking event, than it is to, invite and connect with 1,000 different people on LinkedIn, than setting up a Facebook ad and doing all of these other things. They're all options, but that's not if you're getting started. No, that's further down the track, right? For the first 3 years, Coach Christy was able to coach 10 hours per day, 6 days a week, right? Earning about 200,000 baht per month, maybe $8,000 per month, just with this, with zero business cards and a zero updated LinkedIn profile or Facebook page or any of that, right? In other words, she was laser focused to get results. As she got results, she asked them, would you like to work on something else? And then she said, hey, do you have any friends or colleagues that might enjoy this process as much as you have? Boom. And her schedule was full. Her schedule was full for 3 years. In fact, it got so full, I had to say to her, darling, what would happen if you put your price up? And she said, well, I'd have more of a work-life balance. And I was like, yes, please. So that's exactly what she did, right? Because guys, what determines your price, right? First of all, start at $100 per hour, whatever that is in your currency. Look at offering a buy one, get one free or bundle it together as a package. When do you put your price up? When the demand is stronger than what you can supply, right? When the demand is greater than what you can supply, that's the time to put your rate up, right? Because, otherwise there's no point charging, $1,000 an hour and you're sitting at home like this waiting for the phone to ring. It's not going to pay the bills, right? If you decided you're going to be a full-time professional coach. So that's why this growth mindset of continual development is so, so important. Michelle says, how many sessions do you typically start with? Is 6 the magic number? I like at the moment, guys, 6 hours is easier for someone to decide, right? 10-hour package or 12 or 15. Number one, it's a little bit more expensive. Number two, it's more time. Time or lack of time is the biggest resistance that you will have. So I think 6 at this moment in time is a great place to start in terms of a little coaching package, right, that you can offer. So that's the 3 R's, guys. And I know you're probably asking, well, how do I get results, right? Because that's probably the most important R. If you can't get the first R, then the second and the third one probably aren't going to really happen, right? So let's take a look here very, very quickly in the 5 minutes I have remaining. Obviously, guys, coaching 101 is you've got to connect with your coachee, right? They are a human being with emotions and feelings and challenges and situations going on in their life. You must connect with them as a human. You must have the ability to build rapport with people, which is essentially that feeling of trust and connection. Because if they don't trust you, then they're not going to open up to you, right? So, when you're doing those pro bono coaching or the chemistry sessions or those free sessions or whatever, don't try to focus on making the sale, guys. It's not the time to do it. It's the time to connect with them as an individual, right? Build that trust, find out what the goals are they want to achieve and what they think might be holding them back, right? Number 2, you must have the belief that inside of your coachee is a diamond just waiting to shine brightly, right? And so you often need to believe in them more than they believe in themselves. In other words, you have to have respect for your client as well, your coachee. If you don't have the respect for them, walk away. For whatever reason, I'm not talking about judgment here. I'm just talking about if you don't feel that there's a match, if there's somehow their values are very, very different to you, if you feel that there is a lack of trustworthiness or they're not telling the truth or for some reason you cannot respect them, don't force it, right? You won't feel good at the end of the day. So you must believe in them often more than they believe in themselves. You need to be like the cheerleader, the number one raving fan of him or her to help them grow to that next level of success. They will feel that, and then they'll be more willing to open up and to work with you on a longer term basis. Add massive value, right? So in the early days, guys, and remembering for the most part in coaching, we're not telling people what to do. However, you can still add value. And how do you add value? Well, it might be, instead of just doing an hour for the session, you might go over 10 or 15 minutes. For example, that's a real simple one. You might share a link to a YouTube video or a series of YouTube videos. You might recommend some books, right? You might, check in with them between sessions. Hey, what's going on? Right now, again, in theory, right, as the ICF professional coaching standard goes, the coachee is 100% responsible for all of the actions that they take outside of the coaching conversation, right? You're only together for maybe 1 hour per week. So those other 160 or whatever hours, your coachee needs to keep themselves accountable and responsible for taking action. Right now, that's the pure definition of coaching. Yet we have reality as well. And when I talk about reality, guys, I want you to do whatever it takes, right? Sending a little reminder. How are you going with the tasking? Is there anything you need help with? How's your week going so far, right? Not in a creepy or stalky kind of way, but in a professional, adding value kind of way that's going to help them achieve their goal. Because remember, guys, their success is your success, right? If they are succeeding and they are getting results, well, they're going to move on to the second R and the third R, right? They're going to repeat with you and they're going to refer their friends. But you must have that focus on doing whatever it takes ethically, right, to help them achieve their goal. Right? So that means going above and beyond by adding that massive value, then that's what you need to do. Any questions, guys? Oh, do you need to define the goals of the coaching, what they want to develop up front before you start the coaching conversation? No, getting clear on the goal that they want to achieve, that will often happen in the chemistry session. Right? So what do I mean by chemistry session, guys, is rarely, in fact, never will a client just pay you and say, okay, coach me for 6 hours. Go, coach me. Here's my money, coach me. That's never going to happen, even with Coach Christie as MCC. So you'll conduct what we call a chemistry session. The purpose of the chemistry session is to build rapport, to ensure there's mutual trust and respect, and to get clear on the goal. Right? What is the goal that they want to work for towards on that next 6 hours? Right? So that's all happening in the chemistry session. The chemistry session will be anywhere between 30 minutes and 90 minutes, right? And this is a real good area where you can add value, right? Because you'll want to ask them, what is your goal? What's been preventing you? What's worked well in the past? You want to get to know them. You want to identify any patterns that they have, what kind of successes that they've had, so that you know that you're able to help them. The ICF, I think, originated in America. However, it is a worldwide coaching authority. It's the world's largest coaching authority. And especially for those who, again, you're looking to be a professional coach, which kind of means you probably want to get paid. The ICF credential is the world's most well-recognized and most well-respected. You know, even here in Thailand, we will have organizations call us and they'll say, we're looking for ICF certified coaches. Can you help us? So even, you know, HR and L&D people or leaders within an organization who are looking to bring in a coach into their organization, they're looking for ICF certified coaches. Cool. All right, well, ladies and gents, that's about it. And you know how we're going to finish. If you want to take your coaching skills to the next level, join us for NLP. It's about 3 weeks away now, and you can join virtually from wherever you are in the world. There are some great tools of NLP, some advanced coaching tools, and there are a lot of tools to develop your communication and your EQ, which you remember as part of the characteristics to be a great coach. The NLP will help you a lot there. Only 50,000 baht for the NLP. And then for the ICF, if you're really looking to take your professional coaching standards to the next level, then I do recommend the ICF Leadership Coaching Certification. Perfect for those of you who are still in a leadership role. You get to practice those skills for 6, 12, 24 months, so that when you are ready to transition as a professional coach, freelance, facilitator, or whatever, you've already built your muscles and you are ready to rock and roll. Special for that is 55,000, and we do have a monthly payment plan as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all. If there's any more questions, guys, how many hours does the ICF certification give for the ICF? 65 hours. The ICF program is a 65-hour accreditation. And then if you want to go to the next level, which is ACC, you also need 100 hours of coaching experience. But if you have any specific questions, guys, on the accreditation, just ping me a quick email. I'll be happy to answer. I know some of you have already done coaching programs before. You might want to look at how can you get credentialed more quickly. Let me know. As always, ladies and gents, thank you for the opportunity to serve. I so really appreciate seeing the familiar faces, and I'm excited to see the new faces as well. Stay cool, stay safe, stay awesome, and keep on coaching. Bye for now. Ciao, ciao.